Hello and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2. I've let this run for a little bit so we can begin to see initial demand on the airports, and we can see here it does seem to be working. We have 32 people waiting here in Santa Clara, and the first plane that landed in Louisville is bringing over 7, while the other ones behind it are probably carrying a little more as demand continues to rise. So in this episode, our goal is to connect these bus stations next to each airport and connect bus lines to some of the neighboring cities to allow for even more reach from the airport. So this will allow people to be able to access this much easier than coming by private transportation, or in some cases in Cedar Rapids, if they take the train, they can really only access it efficiently if they're on this side of town. So having buses connecting to other bus networks will just also help make it easier for everyone to travel to the airport, which should really drive demand in here. On a quick side note here before we get started, it looks like the roads we've added in the last episode, or a couple of videos ago, seems to have done its job, and we've taken a lot of traffic off of the highways here, so we no longer have a huge line entering Cedar Rapids. Now unfortunately that does mean that we have some buildup over here and over here, but hopefully for now that's just temporary as a wave of traffic, probably from people not taking the highway anymore, but we'll see how to go from there. But at least we now have two separate streams of traffic instead of everyone clogging the highway here. So firstly, let's get started with Santa Clara over here. We need to find a bus depot that we have all the way out here, and then we can come in, find some buses. They don't need to be anything too special, at least the first one that's going to just head straight to Santa Clara. So we can get a pretty cheap bus here, probably these New Flyer D40s, and we'll go with 6 of them just because it's a very short drive to go from this one right across the train station over to this one. But that should help out with getting people where they need to go. I'm not too sure why these two lines are on the same terminal, but we'll switch that over quick. And now this bus station is completely full, unless we wanted to sort of double stack one of these platforms. But everything seems to be functioning pretty well here, and hopefully the addition of this new line should help that. Alright, and now the next bus connection we're going to do is between Santa Clara and Cedar Rapids. Now this one's going to be a little tricky because we already have a train line that runs directly between these two, and we do have a bus line that goes and connects here. So I'm not too sure how effective it would be to reuse this bus station for the line heading to the airport. It might be better to turn this bus stop into a bus station, since it's very close to the heart of the city, so we'll just get a bunch of coverage based on that alone, and it's still connected to the existing bus network, so it wouldn't be terrible. I think we're going to go with that. I just think we already have a lot of connections coming from this area, so we don't really need anything more there. We'd just be covering routes that we already have. So quickly to get started on this, we'll delete that and simply just replace it quick with one of these. That's pretty straightforward. I don't think we really need to do anything special here. Maybe add one or two of the small passenger buildings, or maybe if we can fit a large one, which we can't. So we'll fit 2 small ones on here, and that should pretty much cover most of the demand that we would be getting, hopefully, in Cedar Rapids. If we get more, that's great, but I think this will be okay for our existing network. So next we'll just come in here, and I think because this is a longer route, we might try out these new buses we have, the Wright streetcars, because they do have a top speed of 62. And they have some good power, so they will get up to that top speed on the highway. And they have a lot of capacity, so if we did a line like this, we really only maybe need 5. So we'll stick with that. We'll try out. If it doesn't work, we'll just choose cheaper buses so we're not wasting too much money. But I am excited and hopeful that these will work. This route is pretty uncongested, so there shouldn't be a wait with our buses anymore now that we have that situation fixed. And here they come. I think these look pretty cool, so I'm excited to see them driving around and being a part of our network. Alright, so next we're going to connect to Garden Grove. And we already have a line pretty much running the same way. It's just this one's not going to the airport. It's going to this station, which still kind of stinks we couldn't get these connected. Although I suppose we could just turn this station into what this station serves as, but the location of this one's much better when located with the rest of the city. So I'm okay with what we're doing for now. But anyway, I think we'll do the same thing that we did for Cedar Rapids. We'll get like 5 of these streetcars. They'll be enough to serve whatever demand there might be. And then if people do decide to take the other bus line in here to this station, they can always take the short shuttle to the airport or just simply walk. But it doesn't hurt to have a bus line to run that route, and we can just connect it up here and everything looks good, besides just switching this to its own terminal, and we should be good to go from Garden Grove. Alright, and now the last city I think we're going to connect to is Akron. I'm thinking about maybe connecting to Tucson, but I'm not too sure. Actually, I think we will, because we don't have any other connections between Tucson and Santa Clara, so another bus line that runs from here, or maybe one that runs from somewhere in the middle of the city, maybe here, might not be a bad idea. So we'll figure that out when we come over here, but first, let's head over to Akron and just make sure. Looks like we might need to expand the terminals, or we could just figure out whichever one already connects to Santa Clara. We can just share that one, since it's probably not too much. Now, Akron does already have an airport, which we're gonna probably be competing with, but it's not sort of the same lines that run from here. Like, we do have one that runs, I believe, to Clearwater from Akron, but our side over on Louisville is more connected to our transportation fabric, so it still might be pretty efficient for them to go that way. And once again, we'll grab 6 of these streetcars. and then we'll go from Akron over to our airport bus station. And then we just make sure our terminals are all lined up. And then over in Akron, making sure it's sharing with Terminal 1, which runs a similar line. And we should be good to go. So finally for Tucson, I think we're gonna turn this stop into a station. And we probably won't put on this block so we don't destroy these massive buildings. So we will delete this one and just place it a block farther away down on this street. And once we get it rotated properly, we can just place that in. And maybe add a small building just in case, but now we have that station. We should be able to find the road depot. And for this line, we'll probably just get 5 yet again. These are higher capacity buses, so we don't need the frequency that we had before with our lower capacity buses. But now that line's set up, we can get that one on its terminal. And I believe over here in Tucson they were okay. Yep. And now all that's left to do is let it run and see what happens. We continue to get more and more people queuing up here, which is great to see. Our planes are running at about half full and almost making a profit. So if we can get this up to being consistently filled with probably 35 to 40 people every trip, we'd probably start making a lot of money on this line. So next we come to Louisville, where over here we need to set up our bus network. And the first thing I want to do is maybe see if we can get a railroad crossing somewhere over here, just so it's not quite such a long trip to get a shuttle bus service going from here into Louisville. So let's see if maybe we could get one to come across here, which I think we can actually get. So we'll do that, as well as maybe one that comes across like this. And I think those are good. I'll just smooth it out real quick. And this should be good. I mean, the only people that'll probably use these roads are buses, at least until the city realizes it can probably build out here, but we wouldn't expect to see much traffic on those 2 railroad crossings. Alright, so we're going to come in here and grab a couple of buses to go around Louisville. We're going to have 8 of them, and I think that's because we're going to do a loop that's sort of like this. So we're going to start here. We're going to send it to this one that's in sort of the heart of town and where all of our bus lines meet. And then we'll bring it down to the station here. And I just want to quickly change the terminal this one's coming on. I think it might be full, so we'll come back and fix that. Yeah, it's definitely full, so we'll just have to select whichever one is probably getting used the least, which line 68 or 66 is probably the one to go with, so we'll change it to one of those. And the reason I did this is because stopping here first, they'll already be headed to the airport. There's no reason really for people to leave from this bus station out to this one, because it really only connects you to the rail station, which already has a connection. So sending the bus first out into the heart of the city covers pretty much all the needs that would come in this loop. So next I think we're going to send a bus line out to Mesquite. So we'll come in here, we'll grab I think 5 of these streetcars again to go from here right into our main station in Mesquite. We'll make sure this one goes on its own terminal, and that line should just be good to leave alone like that. So next we'll get our connection into Durham settled, and we already have a bus station sort of in the middle of the city here. All we really have to do is add on another passenger platform, and then we just need to find the road depot out here in Durham, all the way over here, and then get a couple of buses running this route over to the airport. And now we have our trickiest connection here with Toledo, as traffic here has not gotten any better really. Everyone's still trying to come in on this road, and that's continuing to cause issues. So I think we'll probably just get a bus station somewhere out here so our buses don't spend an eternity in the traffic of Toledo. So maybe we'll turn whatever's over here into a bus station, which I think we'll just go and do that now. Clear up a little bit of space, simplify some of these intersections. Much like that. We can then do that and place down a station right about here, where we can then just add in a building, maybe a large building. We'll replace that, and then we'll just get 4 cars running between Toledo and Louisville. So we'll get this in here and this in over here. So now that's pretty much all the lines that we're gonna do. Everything's pretty much covered. We'll come back and see if maybe there's other places we can add more connections, but I think for now we're pretty good. So we should see our numbers increase over the next couple of episodes, and we'll keep an eye on that, hoping that we'll begin to make a profit as this plane is. But that's pretty much going to be it for this video. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions or feedback, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.